All right. Now, I've spoken about my opinion of Job Network a little while back on different accounts about how can people find their way for real and just not waste time and get things done, and how do the places know if you can do that, and what can we do in this current system here in Australia, in Victoria, but the welfare system is pretty much the same for everyone around. Um, how can we get ourselves to find the right job for us and actually find it? Because a lot of these systems, you go there and they just have the standard run around paperwork. Yeah, you got to come in, we've got to sign this thing, agreement, and just have a little chat, same chat we always have. We don't have a job for you, but you've got to come in, right? In some cases, it's very hard for people to even get out. They don't even get out because they had certain problems and reasons, and yet they've got to come in and do this, otherwise you don't get paid. And follow this line, and just to make it look good and make it look like we're doing something. As we have not a clue to really study people and to talk to people without just, I've got these questions to tell you. What's your name? Where do you live? What colour is your shit lately? You know, just something, just basic that doesn't really help us, right? When it comes to getting real answers, right? It should be, what you're good at. We've noticed you're good at this. I've started this while you haven't been here, and I found out this for you because we work for you while you're not here. And I found out this is what we can do for you, and we can actually do it. So I've called you in because we have contracts where you can come in at least, we'll do a yearly one for you. Hopefully we can talk to the government and get these contracts, as we're pretty good here at this system. And we'll find out what we got for you and what we can do and where do you want to head. And if you can show us a plan that you've got a plan that we can agree to is probably best for you and where to head, we might advise you, definitely if you've got an illness, that advise you to just keep doing what you're doing, and hopefully you'll get there. And it's good that you've got an illness because that'll help out for that as we give out advice. If not, if you don't have an illness, we just will have to do a checkup every now and then and you come in. But otherwise, we'll just mostly do phone calls. We won't cut you off if we know you're in such a plan because that's just stupid. And we know it's the system. But once we've had a conversation with you, we won't. If we don't ever get to know you, we will, right, at the start. But once we get to this certain, look, there's the birds again, certain spot, you'd be absolutely fine. I'm going to go out there, Shane. I'm going to do it this time. Yeah. Oh, there it goes. Oh, past the tree, yeah. I call them signs, as I was talking about before. Things you might find that they give you signs, or you might see something people see other people when they say certain things or certain things happen. You can get signs that can show you if you're on the right or wrong path on certain things. But anyway, I thought I'd talk about that. That's my opinion. I've talked about those type of things before. Lucky for me, I do have an illness, but it's not an illness that I can just use all the time. It's a cystic fibrosis illness, and it's an up and down kind of thing. But you can go on the pension on it and just use it all the time, as it's mainly sick all the time. But if you want to really get a job for real, that I learnt over time, is you got to pretend that you don't have it. You got to tell employees that you don't have it. Because if they find out you're weaker than other people or may get weaker, you'll get lower on the line. So is it good to go around telling that and we'll just get in the pension? Because once you tell people that, and definitely if there's competition, you've got no chance. You're just going to be wasting your time with the good bit of health that you do have when you go run around doing these things. Or is it best to have a hobby, right, and keep yourself happy, because depression makes you sicker, right, and stress makes you sicker. Right, when it comes to all sorts of illnesses. Which way is the best way to go about it, you think? I've talked about a lot of different ways, and there is a lot of ways when you come from the heart to sort out things. But when you come from it just is paperwork, follow the line, robot sections, right, and you can't get to someone with a heart to fix it out, which is what debate's meant to be, and hire to the right person needs to know an area that's not getting changed. That's why we get higher, right? Do they have a heart anymore? Are they just all robots? We're all dealing with robots now. And when you deal with robots, what will we get? We'll get algorithm certain things that repeat a lot. They might do a lot of repeats of questions and stuff like that. And in no heart, they don't really care. You become a number, as they say. And we don't want that, do we, people? Right? And so communication is key, and doing the right things and showing the right things. Because when you don't show the right things, what happens? Well, you're telling other people not to do other naughty things, but you're not quite right either. And when you're not quite right and do things in a similar way, in a different way, well, that just shows others that everyone can just have an argument and things will go forever. In like you're trying to tell your child that you can't have a kid at 16, but yet you did, and so did your mother. But now you're telling them they can't. It's like law changes sometimes when they said, here's cigarettes, and had all these ads about cigarettes, it's good for you, and all these things that they didn't care about. They allowed you to learn, right? And then all of a sudden they're like, no, hang on. We changed our mind. We decided that this science works for us, and then they do these actions. And that's no good, is it? Anyway, so what's your opinion of Workways, and how did Workways may have helped you over the years when you've gone? So it's not one time. Just what's your opinion? You think they're actually helpful? Did they have helpful times?
No.
Oh, well, there you go. It's a straight out no. Now, why aren't they helpful? What do you go through when
They're saying that they could help me, like, with certain stuff to prepare to get a job, but I inquired about them helping me with what lessons. They can't help me.
Lessons, so courses.
Huh?
Lessons. What, driving lessons? Oh, driving lessons.
Yeah. They said that if I was
ready
right now to go for my P's, they will pay for like a lesson or two and then the test.
Yeah.
But because I've got no driving experience until I'm ready to go for my P's somewhere else.
You can't really... So the only way she can get a job is to where she can walk to, or maybe take transport.
Yeah, and now I have severe anxiety.
She has severe... I was about to mention it. And Emma has a problem that ever since I've met her, is why we still have certain problems in certain areas, is because of anxiety.
And then the second, I need assistance with paying off my glasses, because that does help with my vision. And to me, that is something you probably do need for work, because so I can see better.
Now,
they can't pay for that either.
Yeah.
But what the hell can they do to help me?
Yeah, and so what they advise you to end up doing when you have some conditions?
And then with my health conditions, they said I either get a medical certificate, but I already got one last time and Centrelink didn't exempt it. Or they say to apply for disability, but then with disability, I need to, like if it's my mental health, I need to see a psychologist to get something from them, and then that might cost money. So it's like...
Well, it does, and it takes time.
Exactly. And
but it is an area.
My mental health issues might not be good enough, because they say...
It goes up and down.
Because with your mental health issues, you can get a disability for that.
Yeah.
But
how do you really prove that too? And it goes up and down a lot with a lot of people.
And then I gotta go for that.
Depends on who's around you.
And it's just
incidents you might go through.
But then also my job network knows that I'm not job worthy because of my health issues I've got to deal with right now.
Yeah, which is what I was just talking about before.
But then at the same time, she knows that I need money to pay for these specialist appointments. So
yeah.
It's like I'm going round and round.
Yeah. So you need a license, like I said, because licenses get you to jobs, right, without all the stress moments and all the things that people go through. So that is a key, and that's why they offer that, but they can't do it because you've got this.
And also they said they're willing to pay for a laptop for me if I want to do some online studying, but there's not much online studying of courses that I want to do.
Yeah.
So, of course, they're not going to give me a laptop unless I'm doing a course.
Well, when you go to do a course, sometimes they just go, just pick a course. And you've done that before, and some you've done and some you haven't completed.
Yeah, and back then they
But what's the point, everybody, of picking a course you can't do? Exactly. Really? Or you have a low chance at. Now, I remember seeing an ad. Some people can call me an asshole. I'm just a realist. I really am. And I'm not. I'll be proud to see someone that... Because I say this to people all the time, right? Definitely to alcoholics who like to debate about marijuana, which I'll tell you in a minute, is that I'd like to see someone with Pawsley grow up. Have you seen that ad with the girl on the wheelchair? And she goes country to country. And she wants to be an astronaut. And she got told she could. I couldn't say that, because I'd say you could, but you're more likely you ain't, darling. There's people who have a good chance to be one, and they're not going to be one, and they get disappointed. You know, you're going to need a miracle, right? But I will help you succeed in something that I know that you won't waste your time in, because false hopes, and that's very, very low, is not a good thing to have, right? But it did sound good. I understand the ad, but I used to tell people that when I used to see the ad, I'm thinking it's a bit of false hopes, and they go, why? And that's why I thought I'd tell you, everybody, when it comes to certain things. As I've been told that exact thing that I just said about her, and she's way off than what I am about what I can't do, because of cystic fibrosis. Right? Anyway, I thought I'd chuck all that out and some opinions about certain areas and how we can fix certain areas, but it's hard when we have all these conditions and issues and they're all mixed in. So when you have things complicated, what happens? Right? When you don't want to be at a spot, why start doing paperwork that you're going to be there? Right? But they make you do that. It's very odd why such things happen, because people don't communicate enough. They don't understand enough. All they got is the aeroplane guideline book. You know how the pilots use guideline books and they got to go do. They're pretty much robots doing their standard thing. They don't really need to fly. They're pushing buttons for the robot. They're just making sure that they've got their part into it, right? But that's what it's like, and it's sad. And hopefully, sooner or later, we'll have real people in the real section who's just instead of getting in there to look good for a position and all that kind of stuff. And people really get into it before they worry about holidays and stuff like that. Because when you have a heart, you can't sleep on certain things. You make promises definitely to the people. It's like making a promise to your kid that I'll get something, and then you couldn't get them something for that birthday. How do you feel? You feel like shit, don't you? I'm not even a parent, but I know how it feels when I said I was going to get a gift for someone, right? You feel like shit. You feel like a failure. Well, that's what a leader should feel like. And if they don't, they think, yes, who cares? And they did it. Well, they weren't really there for you. There's like a foster parent. As long as the pay's good, I'll say what you want, but I'm not really there. You know what I mean? But anyway, have a good one, everybody, and see you later. And hopefully we can sort these areas out. The worst thing about that license part, everybody, here's one I want to chuck in, that Emma wouldn't even need a license if the laws were righteous. Is they were fair. See, I was driving around. I previously had a smoke before. I've been done for marijuana. I'm a marijuana, lost my license for that, right? As I've been tested positive for it. Now, it doesn't test you how drunk you are, like their drunk test, and go, he was 4 times over the limit. It just says you have it. And when you go to court, you can't argue about trying to keep your license because you had it 4 weeks ago or anything. They just punish you. At least when you're an alcoholic and that, they deserve to yell at you because you are. They yell at you just like you're an alcoholic dangerous man, and yet you're not. Isn't that sad? It nearly made me want to cry. But I've gone through a lot lately that I can hold back in certain areas now because I'm just getting over it. It's just sad there's so certain areas punished like that. They're like a bad parent that punishes everybody for their sins. Your kid said that. That kid ripped me off. Like, I couldn't borrow money once off my parent because another sibling of mine borrowed money, and then the parent says, I can't pay you back because I've lent this money, and they never paid it back. And now you might do the same thing, so I'm not going to do it. So they punish you, and you didn't even get the opportunity. So that sucks that people get opportunities because they ruin it. Other people don't even get it. That's not fair. And when it comes to leadership and fair, and you ask God, because that's what you all ask in that area, what's fair? Would you like him to do that to you? You go, that's not fair, is it? Perhaps he is doing that to you. And that's why we are in the certain areas of unfairness. You get it? So who would be more righteous? Are you above God then? If that was true, you would say, no, it can't be true. He's doing that the right way. He's not doing that one. Anyway, have a good one. And the license part, Emma just got her L's. We were on to that, weren't we?
Yeah.
Yep. And I was just starting to teach her. If she wasn't have her problem, remember your problem that you just mentioned? Anxiety.
Yeah.
Right? She was shit scared of the car, never panic bashed or anything like I had. opportunities or anything like that. Didn't even get driven around much, as her parents didn't do that much in that area, and she was with her mum and she didn't drive, right? Drove, right? So she's also, and she's scared of boats, right? 'Cause she didn't get certain experience. You can imagine these people, right? And we were just getting there where she's got her confidence to want to drive again, because one time she first drove, she was in a car like mine, a little bit powerful, right? But it doesn't matter, foot's foot, and it all happens in all kinds. I've been there myself. And she was taking off and she got nervous and scared. When you do that, you can't think. And she couldn't even steer when that happened. You said panic. You can't think. That was the start. And that's what everybody's like to go to ride a bike or anything. But anyway, we'll get in there, and then all of a sudden, along comes, as some people would say, and I've talked about in my life, something that's unfair when it comes to debate. And if that didn't happen, that law part was more righteous, and they can actually get people who are drunk and pull people off the road who actually are dangerous, instead of going, hey, you've had this substance before, we don't like this substance, and we're getting it off the street, and our way is to bully and intimidate and just is, right? You've got science, but this is the court of law, and science is, we use that when we want to, as it's just is. And the law just come up and it says this, and it wasn't made by science. All right, you'll have to go to another court, which I'm going to have to find out. Where do we go next if you can't debate something that we meant to debate so we can change laws, or where do we got to go? And that's why I started getting into politics, everybody, because that's where you got to go, isn't it? Right, to fix these certain areas, right? You got complaints with police. You don't really go to the police. See, I've noticed the police can't fix it for you, right? And so you can go ask them and get their opinion, which is what I've been doing, and find out what they are, right? And you can talk about that later on, and go higher to fix who gives them the laws, right? You got complaints of what they're doing. Well, go complain the one that gave them the laws, or the one that can change that sector now. Right? You go see them. Right? Don't like noise complaint, right? If I had a car, you know what I'd be doing? Right? And friends, I'd find out where they live and get the closest person closest to them to give them back the same thing when it comes to that noise complaint. Right? So if you finally had a bullying you, like I've had, and can call noise complaint on you and stop you from mowing and blowing and just being you, right, at proper times during the day, everyone else is just as noisy, right, and they're using this law against you, you go use the same law against them or your friends. So you do it back to them, and I bet you they won't like it that they can't do something now. They'll go, oh, I thought I had nice people around. Well, you don't now, and you've created this law. If someone just doesn't like you, and you don't even have to do nothing wrong, mate, to get people that like you, envy and greed and all the rest, right? They will use this law that you created. Do you feel it now? Instead of someone trying to tell you what that law is and what it's doing to the people, right? How you make it fight. You're making them sort of each other out. You better be nice then, otherwise you will just get the law coming after you. You're not fitting in anymore. They even say, these type of people, when you go, what's your problem? They go, we just want you gone. Ah, sorry. Because that's what I get, eh? Yeah. That's why I'm getting attacked. Nothing what I did. There was no actions. In fact, I was helping. And then you can have these people go, I just don't like you. I just don't want you here. Right? Perhaps that's why I was here. Someone didn't like me or something, you know. There's just people like that. They make an opinion of you. But anyway, have a good one. You let me know what you think in comments about those areas and how they are helpful to you or not. And see you later.